and everything else. And the big thought running through me is, the me changing like the nature in which I do everything. The nature in which I define friends, the nature in which I consider anybody in my life. Because the only reason why what I seem to care about is an issue. Part of the reason why I just had to throw it out into the world and, do self-immolation. Is because I needed to hear all manner of feedback, an appeal to the all, if you will. And an appeal to the all is an appeal to the higher force. It rocks my world, and, things outside the world can tell me all manner of things about what is and isn't, what should and shouldn't, right? But it's knowing when you're hearing that and your heart actually responds to it differently than the last time you heard it. You understand? Right? It's when you're ready for a real change, a real frequency shift, if you will. And I'm ready for a real change and frequency shift. You burn away that which is not in resonance. You change your disposition, you change your attitude, but also you change in the future with whoever next. Whatever's new, whatever's next time, you make a change in that way. And it's not a hard change because you already went through the hard part before you had to act on the decisions, because the decision, you marked it in your heart. And this has been a period of time where I've been marking new decisions in my heart. And as life moves forward, I will be acting upon that. Right? I will have a different relationship with the whole world, with all manner of people. Because I have too much. I've had too much of the back and forth of belonging versus being alone and yada yada yada. And the truth is, for me, it's just gotta be something. You just shut up and be fucking alone. I have to be, because if for me, I'm in constant change, shift, evolvement, evolution, ascension, transmutation, whatever, all of the things, all of the ingvas that you could ask for. Right? With all the ingvas that you could ask for. Naturally, what the fuck is a friend gonna be? Because tomorrow you're gonna wake up and your friends aren't going to recognize you because they hadn't been paying attention to the changes you've been going through for months. And then they don't know how to respond to that. And you know what? Me going through those changes, I mean, I don't know. I was almost going to say it's not fair to them. Right? That they would, right? And I guess if my impulse was to say it's not fair to them, which is me mostly compassionating, empathizing with their position, it also tells me I shouldn't have friends that are in that position, because I am going to do nothing but just become someone that they don't know what to do with. It's just like, Steve's been great, but you know what? Last couple of times we've been talking, he's like, I don't know, man. It's weird. He's not like himself, right? And this could be something that they can't tell me, right? So I'm catching this. I'm catching this idea in myself, and my mind should not be having relationships that make me dwell on these questions just for a sense of this idea of where I belong. Thinking that, like the conversation about tribe emerged around me while I was thinking I was looking for it. And I said, oh, finally, people are talking about tribe? Oh man, I bet I can make tribe with these guys. Right? Well, we'll hang out on Facebook for a little while, social media, common interests. Over time, everybody's going to be like, dude, let's fucking meet up. Right? And that happened, like, basically just with one instance. With one instance that was all for that. And, people involved in my nuclear meltdown was that unit. So you can imagine my relationship in my internal world with all of these people. So, I went fucking nuts. Nuts. And it felt a little good. But also, it was just one of my better temper tantrums, but at the end of the day, it was a fucking temper tantrum. Whatever, I'm working out, I'm doing my shadow work. And like I said, did my shadow work in public as a demonstration for people of what you can do, what you should do, right? In private, Because believe me, I probably should be doing some of this stuff a little bit more in private moving forward. Because, like I said, I'm integrating a new me, and it's all sorts of weird and different. I was having a conversation on the phone with my personal trainer, and he's just commenting on just like, dude, you don't even sound like the same guy. And he's right. I think I've noticed in the last couple of weeks my I think the voice is dropping a little bit, which is great. I have to listen back at myself and see, am I just hallucinating that my voice has changed? I mean, my friend says that it's changed, and he would know because he's gone through the same changes himself, because he was in a similar situation, not as heavy as me, but in a similar situation, and then having the experience of the change within himself in purely material, psychological concept. He's a science guy. He's not there. Right? And I have a certain kind of relationship with him that I call friend, right? I was telling somebody that, like, man, I really just don't have friends. I mean, I do, but I could say that he's a friend, but he's not going to be a close friend, because I could tell him, listen to, because we're friends, right? He'll listen to all my stuff. If I told him that, he'd laugh at it, whatever, and, make a joke here and there, whatever. But also, he would also say things like, I think it's incredible that you've got this spiritual discipline. It obviously works really well for you, etc., right? And so, depending on who you are, sometimes I feel like you know, because of my own insecurities. Oh, I need validation from other people, right? So it's the killing of the need for validation from other people, which is part of why I had the nuclear meltdown, because I felt like I'd been lying to the world, saying I'm somebody who needs validation from other people. And if I unconsciously do, it's almost like one of those things where you almost want to ask yourself, oh, what's so wrong with that? But there is a lot wrong with it. There's a lot wrong with it. It's, you know, it's sad to say. It's sad to say, right? Unfortunately, it's just part of that emotional softening of people, at least men, right? You know, I think kind of it's see, we've been the matriarchy that has been coming through, right? I think this is connected to an entire fucking thing involving that, which has this idea in my head, making it seem like it's not. Like, probably what I am doing is a protocol for women, and that I think that, you know, is a protocol that's not supposed to be for women, but for everybody. That I can fucking understand, right? Man, it's just fucking crazy that, like, it's like saying you can never achieve brother status with somebody, right? And so, like, a hug can, you know, from someone, or a compliment, it can only mean so much, right? And, you know, if, and oh man, you just gotta have yourself, and it's hard, but it's unfortunately the fucking truth. It's unfortunately the fucking truth. And one would think that the world could achieve a better place vibe in some other way, but maybe it can, but it's probably gonna come from never challenging each other, and we can get lost in all sorts of problems that we don't realize. That half the world is as fucked up as it is because it's having problems that it doesn't realize, because it has a lower standard and a lower consciousness. And me coming into my full self, like it is for many of us on this path, you know, we're you know, all of us are probably coming from something else. We've got all sorts of issues. In fact, our issues are probably why we're interested in the path, because that issue is part of a conflict with something we're holding on to in our true core essence. That is something that has been imprinted in the world as something that's wrong, right? And they can flip this switch on the unconscious masses. You saw them do it in 2020. You know, you can go from, you know, everything about your orientation in life is perfectly fine the way you do things, to all of a sudden, if you aren't in X, Y, and Z modus operandi, you are not to be liked by anybody. Where's your mask? And they did that, and it wasn't the law that did that. It was culture that did that. It was everybody saying this is reality did that, and put us, who needs to interface with the system, in this outlier, right? And so it's not worth any of it. It's not worth any of it. You know, if you're not constantly pushing yourself every fucking day to break the boundaries of your own limitations, which requires fearlessness, right? There are people that are afraid of losing their orientation in the world because they can't listen to certain kinds of content that is not meant. It's not like you're observing some magical performance, an incantation or whatever. You could be listening to something that's trying to manipulate you, Now, if you're avoiding it because you believe a person's words are very manipulative, and that's your only reason for ignoring it, listen. Everybody is manipulative on some level. Everybody has influence. Why do we bother to speak unless we are to, to put the influence into the ethers, right? I ask people's hearts to move about certain things. I ask people's minds to move about certain things, so on and so forth. And so do the other people that I listen to and honor. I have I've really felt strongly about this the last couple of days, right? Because I just don't need any of that, because I'm not going to let go of this path work. I owe too much of it to myself. It's gotten me that much further, and there's something that just irks me about people that ignore certain things on a level, right? And it just tells me things about people that I don't like. I just don't like it, and it's okay. They don't need to apologize for that, but they do have to understand that I can't be friends with people that are like that anymore. That's a goddamn fucking fact. I just can't be. That's the change that I'm having, that I need for myself, because I don't ever want to act the way I did these last couple of weeks ever again. I don't want to ever feel the way I felt the last couple of weeks ever again. Is that a reasonable thing to really say? No. But this time I am making changes because I just don't want ever again to have to doubt myself. Because I ask plenty of questions doubting myself while spitting assumptions and accusations and everything else, and just, throwing up a new level of fucking psychic defense just out of wrath. Anyway. Linda, thank you. Hi, how are you? Susie Q. Grand Rising. Good to see you. I'll catch you guys later.